Can we talk about AI? One of my favorite artistic YouTubers, Jazza, asked if we can start the conversation about AI, especially as artists. And as Etsy very controversially decided to state it will continue to allow AI art, but not the sale of AI prompts. Also, if you're wondering what the customers think, I have some brand new, very interesting data. So you want to stay to the end to hear what Etsy customers really think about AI. I think it's a great time for us Etsy sellers to continue the conversation. And I mean all of us, not just me. I don't have the answers here, and I hope there are even better points in the comments below. So please check out the comments, be polite to each other, but I'd love to hear what you all think. And yeah, check out Jazz's video too. And before I give my answers, AI isn't new. The term was coined in the 50s, and we've been using things that can be considered AI for a while. But with the explosion of generative AI, large language models, and all the extra smart stuff in the past couple of years, there's been much more interest in it. So today, to make it simple, I'll mainly be covering generative AI art models and large language model types, the pros and cons as I see them. Let's get the negatives out of the way first. Let's start with the cons. Carbon footprint. Training and storing all this data is absolutely massive. So the carbon footprint is massive. Companies are working on this. They are being more aware or are being forced to be more aware of this and looking at green ways for the energy. Okay, copyright. This is like the big elephant in the room of how the models were trained is using other people's copyrighted data. Initially, I wasn't against this in the idea of if I'm learning to paint, it makes sense for me to go and study lots of artists and learn from that and then develop my own style. So I didn't mind the AI being showed lots of artists' work. But where it becomes a problem is where they're churning out things that are almost like the artists. They're being fed the artist stuff, and then people can type in, I want art in the style of an artist who is still alive. So this can be seen to be no, this is against the artist's copyright pretty much. You're taking away the work that they could have been creating. You're taking away money from out of their mouths. So I think that definitely can be looked into, and well, it is being looked into. And the same with the written word. There are a lot of companies now complaining that the large language models were trained on their copyrighted content. Yeah. Other thing, it's not actually that smart. We think of it as smart, but the AI is not doing what we think it's doing. It's definitely not as smart. You have hallucinations, what they call outright lies, where the AI just makes stuff up. I've had some quite large um, arguments with Chatty, and I think we all know about the hands in the photographs. It's not smart enough to really be able to create something beautiful. Stealing work from artists and basically flooding Etsy, or flooding the internet. I'll get to that more. But basically, digital artists, especially who are creating wonderful work from scratch that could take them hours or days to create. And then we have people who are just typing a prompt into an AI tool, getting 4 or 5 different images, sticking them up on Etsy so they can create like 100, 200 listings a day. I'm not saying all artists do this, but the really low effort thing is a big problem as far as I can see. Dumbing down the internet. AI writes content, and then AI is trained on content on the internet, which happens to be AI written content. Search engines are now showing you AI summaries of AI websites. And that also, these summaries, where if you type something into Google or many search engines now, you're not just getting a snippet from a web page, you're getting an AI summary. It's diving into everything that's ranking, giving you a summary. So you don't need to visit the websites where real people have written things. The AI just summarizes it for you. So that's going to make it people are going to be less likely to want to write blogs that aren't going to get visits because the AI will just summarize it. Yeah, over bloomin' exciting adjectives. We don't need to elevate and unleash everything. You can really start to see where places have just used AI to write their blogs or their websites and things. It was kind of cool to start with, but yeah, the AI is a bit over, but people don't write like that. Um, One thing that does annoy me is people making money selling courses of how to use AI, like selling prompts. I'm glad Etsy decided not to do this because the whole point of the AI is you shouldn't need to be taught how to use it. You don't need someone to tell you how to write a prompt. It's just as if you had someone sitting next to you. It's a large language model. It should understand you. So you just type in what you would say to someone. You don't pay people for how to do prompts. Whenever I show something that I've done with AI, people will say to me, "Oh, what are the prompts you use?" Just ask it what you want it to do. If it comes back with something you don't like, rearrange how you're asking it. Ask it in a different way. The same as if you had an assistant sitting next to you, you could just go, "How, what do you think about doing this? Can you do this for me?" And they'll do something, and you might go, "Okay, that was good, but can you change this third paragraph down?" Just chat to chatty. Anyway, there are also pros. No more blank page is the first one I think of. When you have a bit of work to do, or you're creating an Etsy listing, or a very good one is as an artist, if you're being shown in a gallery or you're asked to speak somewhere, you quite often have to write a little spiel about yourself. And that's really hard to big up yourself. So you could put your life and achievements into Chatty, get her to write that for you as a start, and then you can sort of go back and edit it in your words. But it's much easier if somebody starts something off. It's a great way to get started. Or quite often in videos like this one, I'll ask it to give me some bullet points that I can think about, and then I look at what I read stuff and go, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh no, I can't talk about that. That's rubbish." But it just gets you started. Helps you tone down your tone with difficult customers. This is a great one. I call it the, well, not just customers, bosses. I call it the "Chatty, can you write this in a way that's not going to get me fired" thing. So if a customer says something particularly difficult, you can put into the AI, "This is what my customer said. This is what I'm thinking of replying with. Can you remove the snark from it?" Because it can be really difficult not to take things personally. So if you're really struggling with how to answer a customer, get the AI to do it. You can even in some of them, well, you can even put in some of your past answers for things. "This is how I usually write. Can you write like me, but don't make it sound as angry?" It can also be basically an assistant to bounce ideas from in both large language models and art. I think it's really great as well for art. When you've got an idea in your head, but you don't know how to get started, like I needle felt in 3D, and sometimes I've got some ideas for a crazy dragon with all sorts of different things, and I'll chat to the tools to just like get some ideas of a place to start with. And the same with, say you're looking to market your Etsy shop, chat to Chatty about how you would do that. Say, "This is what I create. Hey, what's some kind of ideas? What social media should I be doing?" You can even, on the latest versions of Chatty, you can even ask her to cite her sources, show the pages on the internet that you came up with these ideas from. So if she's quoting like some really good training, some really good researched ideas, she can tell you. Really great one that I talked about beforehand. It can spot patterns and analyze data. You can take the keyword data you get from eRank and put it into Chatty. You can take your numbers and data that you don't necessarily understand, paste it in, and ask her, do you see any patterns? What do you see are good keywords I could use? And tell me why they're good keywords. One thing that you're seeing everywhere is it can review a whole lot of like reviews and say, this is the good points that customers really like about this, but here's what customers would like to see different. So it can be really good at just analyzing a huge chunk of data. You can copy and paste all sorts of things into it and say, hey, Chatty, have a look and figure this out for me. And it does save money. For those of us who are working for ourselves, we don't have a big team behind us, but we're competing with people on, say, social media that have big team, massive amounts of money that can generate absolutely beautiful things. Chatty and DALI and all the large language, all the AI tools can help you with things that you wouldn't have been able to do particularly well, help you with social media images or some of the words for social media, or, instead of hiring a designer and stuff, that your business isn't at the place to do that, you've got a bit of help. So there are good points, but whatever, I'm sure everyone has ideas about this, but whatever the pros and cons, it is here to stay just now on Etsy. So, how do the customers feel about it? As I promised at the start, I have some brand new super secret data that only myself and my friend Starla are sharing with you just now. And for the past 4 years, eRank's performed a buyer survey. Around this time of the year, we ask actual buyers on Etsy a series of questions to best understand our buyers. And this year, we added the question, how do you feel about the use of AI in creating or curating products on Etsy? And I think we were all surprised by the answer. You have a guess. What did buyers think? I wonder if any of you got it right. At 5.2%, we have, I hadn't considered it before, but now I'm curious. 8.3%, I'm neutral. It doesn't affect my decision. Tying for joint second place at exactly 25.2% is, I prefer handmade or human designed items, and I'm open to buying AI generated products. And the number one response with 35.7% is, I might consider it depending on the product. This was really a surprise that only a quarter of buyers are not positive about AI products. Honestly, I thought it would be much higher. So it seems in this case, at least, Etsy was correct. Customers don't seem to have a problem with AI items for now. So I guess don't worry if you use AI items about labeling it as that, which you should anyway. It's very interesting. And if you did find that interesting, over at eRank, they have a ton more data. Check out Starla's videos and tell her I sent you, and check out the full report that I'll link in the description. Over to you now. What do you think?